Only at the major ports of Japan, the seafood catch in 2025 reached around 1,616 million tons. What enables Japanese fishermen to maintain such impressive productivity over many years? It is not luck nor infinite resources, but technology, discipline, and a philosophy of marine exploitation that the Japanese have refined over hundreds of years. In this video, we will explore the secrets behind that success. $558,000 tons. That is the amount of sardines hauled up from the sea in 2025 alone at Japan's main ports. And that figure has not stopped. Entering spring 2026, production continues to set new records. Specifically at Sakaminato, a port in the Tottori prefecture on the coast of the Sea of Japan. In just the first 3 months of the year, fishermen brought in nearly 31,000 tons of sardines. Behind those impressive figures are fishing trips that begin at 4 a.m. In return for that harsh lifestyle, in one night they can earn up to 30 million yen, an income level that many other professions can only envy. In the past, finding fish relied mainly on experience and intuition. Today, modern radar, sonar, and GPS systems have taken over that role. These devices continuously scan beneath the seas, accurately displaying the position, size, and direction of fish schools. Once the fish school is identified, two purse seine nets immediately take action. This is the two-boat purse seine method, the most common and effective technique for catching sardines. The two vessels simultaneously deploy their nets to encircle the school. Above the net are floating buoys that keep it on the surface, while below, heavy lead lines sink down the net. After closing the circle, the fishermen pull the lead lines. At this point, the bottom of the net tightens like the mouth of a bag, cutting off all escape routes downward. The entire operation must occur extremely quickly, because even a delay of a few minutes can allow the entire school to burst out. The next step is the net retrieval stage. Hydraulic systems and automatic winches help haul the net in, but human hands are still required to arrange and adjust each section. About 1 hour later, the net gradually shrinks, and the fish are concentrated and they rise to the surface beside the ship's hull. Large scoops continuously transfer the fish from the net to the transport vessel. There, the fish are immediately placed into chilled seawater holds to keep them fresh. Everything must happen quickly, because any delay will immediately reduce fish quality. Tottori Prefecture is not only the capital of sardines, but is also famous for Matsuba's snow crabs. In the 25-26 fishing season, fishermen here caught 236 tons of snow crab, an increase of 61% compared to the prior season. But behind those figures is something no statistics can record. 3 to 4 consecutive days at sea without sleep, in cold rain, strong winds, and heavy waves. The Matsuba crab season only lasts from November to March, precisely during the coldest months of the roughest waves in the Sea of Japan. And there is an unbreakable rule: Nets are usually deployed after 12 AM. That means fishermen never get a full night's sleep throughout the whole trip. Catching snow crab is a gamble with the ocean. Fishermen deploy bottom-dragging nets into the dark waters where the Matsuba crabs live. No one knows exactly how many crabs are down there or whether the net will come up empty. All they can do is wait patiently. After around 40 minutes to an hour, the heavy net is slowly hauled onto the deck. This is always the most exciting moment. If fortune smiles, one haul can contain more than 200 crabs. Once all the crabs are poured out, the work is far from over. The crabs are sorted immediately on deck based on size, colour and shell hardness. Not every crab has the same value. A top-grade Matsuba crab can be sold at an extremely high price at the port auctions. They repeat this cycle for dozens of hours continuously each day. Regardless of rain, rough seas, or snow and ice accumulating on the boat, the work must continue, because income from each trip depends entirely on the catch volume and market price that day. In return, on bountiful trips, fishermen can bring home 2 million yen, double the amount of a normal trip. Therefore, many are still willing to trade their health to go to sea. Next, we move to Hokkaido to see how fishermen catch scallops. Hokkaido's scallop production in fiscal year 2025 is projected to reach 336,000 tons. This figure is still considered giant. However, upon closer inspection, it has decreased by 16.9% compared to the previous year and may fall below the 400,000 ton mark for the first time in 6 years. With an export industry valued at 69.5 billion yen in 2024, this is not just a matter for fishermen. It concerns the entire marine economy. But before discussing what is being lost, let us see what the people of Hokkaido have done to achieve those figures. The most common method is bottom dredging. Large metal frames fitted with teeth and nets are lowered and dragged along the sea bed. The vessel moves slowly. The net rakes every metre of the bottom, scooping up scallops it finds in its path. The captain does not need to look into the water, but by reading the engine RPM and feeling the weight through the steering wheel, he can tell when the net is full. Experience accumulated over the many years has turned into instinct. The efficiency of this method is almost unbelievable. In just a few hours, thousands of scallops are hauled up. Immediately afterwards, the race against time begins. Scallops must be sorted extremely quickly, usually in less than 2 minutes. The operations must be precise and continuous, with no room for error because product quality directly determines export value. However, the industry is facing increasing pressure. Rising seawater temperatures and the changing ocean currents have caused significant fluctuations in scallop distribution and stocks. Fishing grounds are moving farther offshore. Fuel costs are rising, and there are even periods where harvesting must be temporarily suspended. (336,000 tons). a figure that seems large, but for humans it's a warning signal. The sea is changing, and the scallop fishing industry is racing against what cannot be controlled: weather, temperature, and time. Due to warming seawater, salmon production in Hokkaido has also entered a critical stage. As of October 20, 2025, locals here caught only 5.6 million salmon. This is a shocking figure because it is only 1/3 of the 15.6 million from the same period in 2024. It is considered the largest historically poor harvest in 7 years since the Heisei era. Yet even as the sea changes, fishermen still set out. This is the livelihood that supports many families. 5:20 AM in Hokkaido. While the sun has not yet risen, the boats begin to leave the harbour. Salmon here are caught using the fixed net method. Large nets are pre-deployed into the sea, functioning as a guidance system that directs the fish into the bag net at the end. After some time, the winches and pulleys begin to operate. Each metre of net is gradually hauled up, bringing the fish closer to the ship's side. Only then does one group of fishermen control the net while another operates large scoops to bring the salmon onto the deck. With the help of such fish scoops, thousands of salmon can be harvested in just one day. The salmon are then transferred directly into circulating seawater tanks for preservation before being brought ashore. This process can maintain meat quality for up to 3 days. But this season, the bag nets are not always full. There are mornings where the nets are pulled up with very few fish. Fishermen must decide immediately at sea, move to another area to try their luck, or reset the net and wait until the next day. No choice is easy. Extra fuel is consumed, extra time is lost, but there is no guarantee of a better catch. After many hours of struggle at sea, the boat finally returns to port. Here, each haul is precisely weighed and thoroughly inspected before seafood buyers purchase it. From there, the fish will be sent to processing plants or distributed directly to local supermarkets and convenience stores. Another famous seafood from Hokkaido is sea snails. 90% of Japanese sea snails come from this province. In the Takachi area alone, around 1,180 tons are harvested each year, with supply maintained almost year-round. A fisherman's workday begins with a short journey of around 30 minutes to the familiar fishing grounds. They do not need to go far, but that does not mean the work becomes any easier. When the boat arrives, the most laborious stage begins: hauling the traps. Each heavy trap is full of sea snails and is slowly winched to the surface. This is one of the most dangerous moments. A momentary lapse in concentration can result in a hand being caught in the roller, or worse, even being pulled into the winch system. Once the trap is on deck, the fishermen quickly open it and harvest the snails inside. But they do not stop there. Immediately, new bait is placed into the trap to prepare for the next cycle. At the same time, the ropes attached to the traps must be carefully arranged and stacked on the deck before being thrown back into the sea. Everything proceeds continuously in an unrelenting work cycle. While part of the crew continues handling the traps, the others begin the sorting stage, a task that seems simple but requires years of experience. Without machinery, they rely on touch to evaluate each snail. Snails that meet the standard size are kept. Those that are too small are immediately discarded and returned to the sea. This is the philosophy that the Hokkaido sea snail fishery has built. Harvest enough to live, leave enough so that the sea does not deplete. Thanks to this method, the sea snail supply here can be maintained year-round, year after year, while many other fishing grounds are gradually disappearing. Next, let us see how fishermen catch flatfish. 1,100 tons is the projected flatfish catch for Japan in 2026. This species is not easy to catch though. They live close to the seabed, lie still, and can camouflage perfectly with the sand. To bring them ashore, Japanese fishermen must stay awake throughout the night, hauling in nets in the darkness. This method uses gill nets, long nets deployed and allowed to drift with the current, blocking the fish's path. Fishermen classify nets by clear colours, green nets for flatfish, yellow nets for other species, so that even in the dark, nobody confuses them. When harvest time arrives, the net winch begins to operate. Each metre of net is wound up with a steady mechanical sound. Flatfish caught in the net have no chance at escape. On bountiful trips, the number of fish hauled up is so large that the bottom of the ship's holding tank changes colour. The stage that truly tests patience is removing the fish from the net. The nets are designed with darker, thicker mesh, making the task difficult. For the inexperienced, removing a single fish can take up to 2 minutes. Multiplied by hundreds of fish each night, it becomes a marathon with the hands. Once the fish are on deck, not a second is wasted. Flatfish are immediately placed into seawater holding tanks. This system keeps the fish alive and fresh from the moment of capture until the boat docks. Individuals that do not meet commercial standards are sorted and discarded after the boat returns to shore. In the context of declining natural stocks, Japan also periodically releases artificially bred flatfish fingerlings into the sea. This is a proactive measure to supplement the population, compensating for what nature can no longer sufficiently provide, ensuring that this fishery continues to exist for future generations.